Hi there, my name is Patrick Salerno. I am a technical artist at Cloud Imperium Games in Los Angeles, California. Mainly focused in 3D modeling and animation from the beginning for the most part. I've always had an interest in it, video games in particular since I was little, so everything was kind of like a stepping stone. Most of my skills are in the art side of things. Now I lean towards a technical artist because I know computers and I can troubleshoot and do technical stuff, but generally speaking, focused on art. I went to school for art for a couple of years. I learned pretty much every program under the sun, and then I went to the 3DTraining Institute and I learned more specifically about what I was trying to focus on. Did the internship there and actually taught classes for a few years too. And then beside miscellaneous sort of art jobs, working on my portfolio, networking, doing my own projects in my free time, ended up coming here to work on Star Citizen. Now I focus on all the aspects of ship design and destruction and functionality. So I put all the pieces together and make everything work. And at the end of the day, I could pretty much just tell everyone I blow up spaceships all day. And I mean, there's a lot more to it than that, obviously, but I'd say that's the best part. I get up every morning and I come in and I make some of the highest quality artwork I've ever seen look as good as possible while running on people's computers at a reasonable frame rate, which is also kind of nerdy thing to be proud of, but optimization is a very important part of any good game. You can have all the polys and all the details in the world, but if it doesn't run on people's computers, no one's going to play your game. So making it look good, making it run good, making it work good are all kind of part of my job description. 3D training, the first thing I took was just the classes because I wanted to learn 3D, and I started with 3D Studio Max and took the courses there, and that gave me a better handle on that software where I took that to work on my own projects in my free time. After that, I ended up learning Maya and went back to 3D training and ended up teaching Maya classes, ArcViz intro. So taught people how to do photorealistic room renders and whatnot. And I think part of, big things I learned aside from just how to model and do art was also just communication and time management and just the ability to work as a team and figure out constructive criticism, both positive and negative. I feel those are really strong qualities for any artist in the industry, and I learned a lot of that throughout my course. In my experience, if you're trying to get into the games industry or 3D modeling and animation in general, really, first thing is to figure out what exactly you want to do, because there's so many aspects to it. At the end of the day, yes, a model's a model and a polygon's a polygon, but what you do with that polygon and what your final output is a totally career diverging type of thing. Like, do you want to be a character artist? Well, you have to learn anatomy, you have to learn materials, how skin interacts. Do you want to be a hard surface artist? Learn how vehicles work mechanically and how the components interact. So yeah, tires connected to a rod, connected to the ship, but how do you do that? So I find really just figuring out what you want to do, writing out how you want to get there, and focusing on the software you need to kind of accomplish your goals. Really, that's just step one, right? Is just the knowledge and the skills. Putting in more time doing than you are learning. So yeah, you can watch as many tutorials as you want, but you don't learn modeling through osmosis, you learn it through practice. So if you watch a half an hour tutorial, you should probably spend the next 2 to 4 hours practicing what they did. Do it 3 or 4 times. I used to tell my students the third time is always the best, because it's going to look bad or not work the first 2 or 3, but every time you do something, you see yourself get faster, you see the quality increase, and it's really just repetition. So really, rule 1 to getting in the industry is skill, because you're competing with many other skilled and talented individuals, so really you just want to be the best of the best. Number 2 would be networking, right? You can't really get anywhere in a void. I find networking can come down to either going to expos, or it can come down to just working on projects in your free time and keeping your LinkedIn or your social networks updated, showing people your work and just meeting people and saying hello and introducing yourself to people in various industries. Those are all very important aspects because you never know when a connection turns into something. I was working on a game in my free time for 5 years before I started on this, and really it was all just related experience. It was CryEngine, which is what we use for this. But, you know, I didn't get paid for that project. That was just because I love games and I wanted to make things and I wanted to see my own ideas come to life. But 5 years later, that portfolio piece, that whole game, ended up being a sort of segue into this. And the people I worked with on that game, on that mod, ended up working here as well and in other game companies. So really, it's who you know, it's what you know, it's building your network and building your skills. I'd say those are really my top two, how to get into the industry. It's just skills and networking, and really just luck is kind of a word, but luck to me is just opportunity plus skill and timing, right? It's those three variables kind of equal luck. So when someone says, I got lucky and got a good job, no, you had the skills, you were in the right place at the right time and knew the right people, and you got through and you got the work. So, you know, never really say, oh, I didn't get that position or what. There's always probably something out there for you. You just got to keep trying. But that's the thing, always work on your stuff. I think a teacher once told me, your portfolio should be updated every 6 months. And if it's not, what are you doing? You know, it could be a small thing. It could only take you an hour. But that one thing you did in an hour is a new piece in your portfolio. Just, it could be something as simple as that. Or it could take you months. It could be a whole animation. It could be a whole game. It could take you years. But your portfolio defines you, your style, and your talent level. You know, it's like some people can walk in and just say, here's my resume. And they're a bulleted list of skills. You are a resume and a portfolio. So your skills are on paper, but your skills are also shown. So when you come in, people expect you to be able to sort of work at a certain level, communicate at a certain level, and sort of develop their stuff higher level. So, you know, practice and networking.